We gain knowledge about our chosen genre, rock, by analysing and viewing existing products, such as videos, album covers and adverts that we found on the internet. This helped us to understand what audiences of this genre expect and what to see from the products they buy. In order to pinpoint exactly what our audience wanted from our products, we interviewed our consumers to gain feedback about what they wanted to see.
The music video itself conforms to forms and conventions of real rock media products, as we chose a mixed style of performance and narrative, which is typical to many rock videos, such as 30 Seconds to Mars' The Kill, that features a narrative based in an empty hotel, as well as a performance on stage. The video develops on real conventions, however, as it covers 3 different time zones, the past, the present, and a glance into the future.
Our digipack develops forms and conventions of rock, as the photos were edited to include dog faces. This is different to many other digipack themes that concentrate on boosting the band's popularity, such as Skindred's Union Black album cover. Our digipack shows a constant theme and keeps to the ideas originally discussed. This then links to both of the adverts as they have the same theme. On the inner panes of our digipack, we have an image of the band taken at the location where we filmed the performance side of our video, creating a link between them that the audience can then relate to.
However, there are differences between the digipack, adverts and the video that creates interest, as there is plenty to observe. The adverts both feature grey backgrounds and a washed out dog. These images are then transferred to the digipack, however the colour red is then added to give a splash of fun and happiness. The video features evidence of washed out colours, as the location for the performance has quite dark lighting, and there was an element of black and white to give a feeling of the past.
Audience feedback has allowed us to understand our audience's preferences, thus allowing us to make changes to our coursework in order to make it more appealing. For all of our tasks during the coursework project, we have asked questions to many of our fellow students who are part of our intended audience, in order to learn as much as possible about all of their likes and dislikes. When creating our digipack, we completed audience feedback before, during and after its creation in order to make it as specific as possible. We set up a presentation of our initial ideas and what we intended to do with them. We then asked people to comment on their favourite and least favourite with reasons, as well as what changes they would make in order to gain a detailed insight into what is expected of the genre. Some of these images included fonts, front covers and themes that we could use. We feel as though we incorporated all the ideas into our work and took on board all that was asked of us.
For the music video, we asked for preferences on narrative versus live footage, or a delicate balance of the two as a preferred form. After showing the finalised video to our audience, we collected comments from many people who all commended on the fact that our video contained a mix between narrative and performance. When it came to using cameras and tripods during our coursework, we sort of had a base knowledge from last year when using still cameras and tripods to make the images less shaky.
Took some shots with the camera, but it was basically just a head-on for the front of our magazines. This year, for our video, we've had to learn how to take and use a number of shots and what they all mean, so that we created the right feeling for our video and got across the opinion that we wanted. So we've had to learn about the use of a tripod to keep the camera steady so that your hand doesn't shake when using just the handheld on its own.
Also, we had to incorporate rules such as the rule of thirds to sort of make sure that it was all professional and would fit in well with the project that we were actually doing.
We have learned to use iMac computers for the first time. We had to learn how to use it and also how to use the editing program iMovie. We have managed to work out the way to use most of the program and all its features in order to edit our music video. We feel that we have developed our skills a lot, and I personally feel that I can now edit a video reasonably well without too much help from my group.
Myself and Maddie sort of had no base knowledge on how to use Photoshop at all. It was all self-taught. We just sort of had to play around, learn how everything sort of went to sort of get the final product that we wanted when doing our digipacks. We sort of had to play with the colour saturation. And in the end, I think a bit of a play. Yeah, I think we did pretty well with that.
Yep, I think we've definitely developed our skills. I mean, I think I've still got a bit of improvement to do, but I can now use the program, at least the basics, and you can do a lot more now.
We used the website Blog to have our own blog for we had at AAS as well. We used the same account and everything, so we could see both in one place. And we used it for updating the shot list and location photos and cast lists and everything like that, plus our final music video as well, and all the ideas we had in between for our digipacks. And it was just a much easier way to see everything at once and keep up to date with the work that we were doing.
Yeah, it's a really good idea because it means that everything's really clear to see, and you've basically got everything in front of you, so when you need to go back and look at something that you've already done, you just find the link and you can click on it and see exactly what you've done.
Our music video uses codes and conventions of real media products, as the style of the video is similar to those of real music videos. We used a mixture of narrative and performance to create a video that would fit easily into the pop-punk genre. This mixture is diverse, with a narrative consisting of mainly the verses, with parts being edited into the chorus. The performance was then placed within parts of the narrative. The shot types were used similar to real media text, especially with the performance capturing close-ups of the band. Our main product and the ancillary task combine relatively well as they link back to the codes and conventions of our genre. A limited colour scheme is used on both the digipack and advert, consisting of mainly dark colours, black and white being used especially, although a less vibrant tone of red was also used to allow variation from the standard pop-punk colour scheme. They also use images of the band members taken at the location of the music video, thus relating well to our video. For the advert, we promoted the single that we had chosen as our song for the music video in order to create a stronger link between the video and our digipack. We gained some audience feedback on our music video to see what people liked about the video, what they didn't like, and a score out of 10. Most of the audience liked the mix of narrative and performance, the timing of the transitions, and the urban backdrop of the performance area. Although in contrast, audience members said that they didn't like the band being too static and not playing across the emotion of the song, and the lighting was quite dull in parts. You couldn't see what the actor was doing. As for the marks out of 10, most people were favourable, giving it a 7 or 8 out of 10. We used HD cameras to film with the video with the exception of one camera. This meant that the video was captured at the highest quality and looked more professional. However, there is a noticeable difference between the quality of the HD camera and the non-HD camera, so footage from the latter was in limited quantity. The cameras were also used to allow us to produce any audience research, the risk assessment and any evaluations in a more interesting way, rather than having them a word-based text. We edited the video using the IMAX with the software iMovie. This was similar to a more basic version of Adobe Premiere, however it still proved to be challenging to us as no one in the group had used this software before. Once we got using the iMovie, we were more efficient within our editing and managed to create a piece that was full of good timing, a quick pace and effects. We were also able to use iMovie to produce an animatic of our storyboard. For the digipack, we returned to using Adobe Photoshop. As our skills in this software grew through our excessive use, we were able to create a piece that looked very professional and reflected the complexity of its creation, however was simple in an aesthetic form. We also returned to using Blogger from our AS level, as each member of the group could access the blog and post, update or edit. It allowed any viewer to see our progress, develop and see any changes we were making throughout the production process.
We conformed to our chosen music genre, generic conventions. These were having a black background for our digipack and eventually led to having one for the advert as well. In the video we also focused more on the instruments than the band members, with the exceptions of the lead singer, Adam. We have been more artistic with our design and filming and have focused more on the instruments rather than the band because we wanted them to be received as talented musicians and not a manufactured band. Because they are well known, we needn't use any close-ups or have many images of them on the digipack. The digipack itself is unified to a black and white theme and to a more controversial look at instruments rather than the band itself. For example, the montage we used for the inside panel of the digipack has no affiliation with the band. The colours we used were chosen for a younger male demographic. The digipack was designed to look edgy with very strong contrasts, as this fits into the conventions of our genre and targets the audience's demographic. I have made the important information on my advert white, as this draws the consumer's attention to that piece of information, as the colour stands out more in white against the black background than the colour red. I have used the black and white image of the band to link into the digipack's image as well as showing the audience who the band is. With the audience research, we found out the direction we needed to take to complete our digipack. We showed some audience the sample designs and we found a common idea of crop top and which was the most effective. This was the typography design for the front cover. The typography idea is copies the band's album title arranged in random against a black background.
As a group, we've discussed our good parts and our parts that need to be improved on our music video.
We used two different location areas for our video. One was a house, which is symbolic of a relationship which matches the lyrics, and we also used a car park which matches the genre because it's derelict, so it gives the idea that the band can play anywhere.
The costumes were good as we used like Converse and skinny jeans etc, which are stereotypical to the rock pop genre.
And for our props we used like real instruments and stuff, and they all fitted to the genre that we'd chosen. And there was a sense of realism and it adds to the authenticity.
We used a mix of narrative and performance, which made it really balanced, and that helps the video to flow. It also helped us to avoid static activity as we can keep switching between the different locations, which stops the video getting boring.
The band we used were a real band, so they can play well to time, which helped in the filming of the performance.
The timings for the performance side of the video were good, as it looked like the band were actually playing the song, and it makes the video look more professional.
The general editing of the video was good, as it had precise cuts, as we had a lot of performance footage. Using the transition tool as well allowed us to sort of play around with all the different ones that we could have used. There are a few bad parts to our video, which included the actors that we chose to play some of the serious scenes that we had, which the seriousness wasn't put across properly.
We used an area of panning to show a passage of the year, which was a good effect and a good idea, but the transition wasn't very smooth and some of them needed slowing down, and during the shooting of it the lighting was changing and some of them have got different speeds, which just makes it hard for continuity.
The lighting in the room house was bad, as we didn't use any stage lights, we just used the natural lighting in the house, which was very orange and didn't look as good.
For the continuity, there were small faults, as in objects left in the shot by accident. However, these didn't affect the overall quality of the video.
Overall, we think we've got a really good video and it's to the best of our ability.
Throughout the whole experience we sort of met deadlines, and we were never behind on work, which allowed us to have more time to sort of edit the video.
Put together well and able to give each other advice. For example, me and Ollie were good at Photoshop and Maddie was good at written work.
We got audience feedback on almost everything, which allowed us to get a more accurate view of what the audience's preferences were.
We were able to be critical about our work, which allowed us to make vital changes and improvements so that the video and all the other work we did was as good as it could be. So it's really been quite helpful to be able to analyse ourselves.